Rugby is all about feeling. The feeling when you crouch, when you bind, when you set. The feeling when you go into that first defender. The feeling when you make that first tackle. The feeling when you take that first hit. We are that feeling. We are contact. We are Rhino.
And a good evening to you, rugby fans. Welcome to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It's the Carolina game. National Collegiate Rugby brings you a Friday Night Rugby. This Tobacco Road matchup is between the University of North Carolina Tar Heels and the North Carolina State University Wolfpack. I am John Broker, and I am joined by the People's commentator, Pat Clifton, for this one. Pat, great game we have coming up.
Absolutely. Two ranked teams, number 16 and number 18 in the country, both coming in undefeated, 1-0. Rivalry in-state, Southern Rugby Conference, all to play for.
Thank you, Pat. It's going to be a great one here as we take a look at this field and this stadium. We're going to talk through the lineups. Let's talk NC State first.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dan Bennett. That's the guy who leads the Wolfpack on and off the field. Team president, NCR Division II All-American last year. The Wolfpack are moving on from Division II to Division I AA this year. And also they got a little bit of international flair in South African flanker David Scott and Georgian number 8, Datuna Gorgadze. He played on the Georgian U16 national team. And in the back line, they got some pretty good players as well. Looking at Whitaker there, Charlie Whitaker, the English native, also played for the Charlotte Tigers, a local high school powerhouse. And, of course, David McCarthy, the senior Munster Cup winner, the Irish exchange student from the University of College Cork. He's going to be a firecracker for them in the back line as well at 13.
That's a Wolfpack bringing the international flavor. Let's talk about the Tar Heels.
Absolutely. North Carolina led up front by Elias Arona. He can play in the back row, but tonight he'll be in the engine room at number 5. He is one of the two team captains. And then sophomore transfer Ty Mendenhall is another one of the Charlotte Tigers in this game tonight who could make a big impact off the back of the scrum. The North Carolina back line, everything goes through fly half George Condra, who is also a team captain. And then Benji Garland is a Gonzaga player, was a high school national champion there at Gonzaga just outside of D.C. He should make an impact as a first year.
Thank you, Pat. Those lineups look strong. It is going to be a matchup. Lots of game within a game going on here. We'll take a quick look at the reserves for both of these teams. These players will be bringing it in a little bit later on. The weather could play a factor. There's a big hurricane off the coast of Carolina. May bring some rain down here in UNC. We will see. But those are your reserves, and we are just about ready to go in the Carolina game. Your referee is Mike Gronwald. Right in the center there, as you see, UNC is going to be going from right to left on your screen. Mike Gronwald, head referee, with Jonathan Bota. You'll see Tissinger joining as assistant referees. Running from left to right is going to be the North Carolina State Wolfpack. You'll see them in their black and red. Should be easy to tell these teams apart as we get things underway here. George Condra gets us going. That kick doesn't make 10. Not quite the way Tar Heels would want to start this one.
Just early game jitters here on Friday Night Rugby under the lights. and Chapel Hill Tobacco Road matchup. I know both of these teams are pumped to be playing in a nationally, internationally, galactically televised game here on Friday Night Rugby.
Certainly will be. We'll have viewers from around the globe. We welcome you in as we get this first scrum going. Referee Gronwald going to set this one down. The Wolfpack with Josh Kennedy going to put this in. The junior from Cork, Ireland. And Glenful Abbey, business admin major at NC State. He takes the ball quickly, squirts out the back, so he's a little bit on his own right now. Players coming in, trying to dig over from UNC. Pick and go, going a little wide here are the Wolfpack. Big shoulder in there. Wolfpack making some ground here. UNC player trying to drag the player across the touchline. Not happening there. We players coming in and over. Good work by Alex Tomlinson to come over and clean that ball out. Looks like another pick and go off here to that right-hand side. It's big Ibrahim Harb, the construction engineering major, takes that one in. Harb, 6 foot 250. Certainly it makes his presence known around the field. Scored a try last week in the win over ECU. Into the middle of the field they go. Big run from Dan Bennett. We talked about Bennett a little bit earlier. Pat mentioned him as a player to watch. Breaks a defensive line right there. UNC having to go wide. NC State pushing it out there. The ball's rolling towards the touchline. Was that player hit before he went in? The referee says no. We're going to have a line out here. It's going to be to UNC. But some good phases there, Pat, from the Wolfpack.
Yeah, absolutely. This Wolfpack team, boy, they look dangerous up front. Look at this front line for the Wolfpack. They stand tall at 6'5", 6'7" in the second row. And across the back row, 6'3", 6'4", 6'4", already making an impact around the park and probably here in the line out too.
When I looked at some of those stats, I don't know if they let the players fill in their own height and they were lying, but they certainly aren't. They are some tall timber on that Wolfpack side, and they've come down to that UNC. Couldn't quite bring that one down. The Wolfpack on the move again with one of the big boys. Getting a rumble on there is Domenico Monago. I go from Natick, Massachusetts. Went to the Varian brothers. Just outside of Boston there. In and over, clean again. Good fastball from the Wolfpack. They're going to go to the boot this time. Bounces off the knee of one of the waiting Tar Heels players. He's going to put it back downfield. Returning they come. Wolfpack looking to get it out to the left-hand side here. One of the big boys has a hold of the ball, and he's not going to give it up. But it squirts out the back. We will see who comes away with this one. It is the Wolfpack. They've lost a bit of ground just outside the 40-meter line of this Tar Heels team. Finding a lot of purchase with these pick and goes are the NC State players. Little stuck there was Kennedy. Has to take it in himself. Finally, get the ball moving out the back there. Gets to Bennett, the history major from Sherborne, Massachusetts. Takes that one into contact. Players in and over from UNC. Great jackal right there to turn things around. UNC have a penalty.
Yeah, Red Lightning a little bit too fast for his teammates on that one. Get isolated, but a great job of that Tar Heel defender to get just over the top of that ball in a really strong position. Always talk about going in with your elbows. And he went in on that one and was rewarded with the penalty.
Well, it didn't look like it was quite going to make touch there, but seemed to be knocked on by one of the NC State players. We're taking a look at this jackal, Pat.
Just got over the top of it nice and early. Look at that good wide base. I mean, his feet got to be about 3 feet apart, nice and low, so when there was contact, he was stable and able to cling onto that ball and earn his reward.
An NC State mistake off of that kick is going to give a scrum here to UNC with one of their first attacking opportunities. Will Vance, the junior from Chapel Hill, a local boy, played for the Chapel Hill Highlanders, puts that one in. Quickly getting it to the number 8, but referee Ronewald not happy with what he's seeing. Set this one down again, just a little safety. You see the tremendous height of this NC State pack.
Yeah, it's something staggering. It's almost like NC State is scrumming downhill when they're standing there looking down at the Tar Heel pack. These Tar Heels, they've got a couple of international players in their starting 15, but predominantly these guys are from the state of North Carolina playing for the Tar Heels.
Ball stolen by the Wolfpack. Bennett does it again. He's active so far. Squirts out. Which Condra can't quite get there. Fly half for UNC, so it's going to come back to NC State. They're going to try to run it from everywhere. That's Monago again. Scholastic All-American and NCR. Using these powerful forwards to great effect so far. That's Harb takes that one in. Across we come. Here comes NC State. They've got some room down the wing this time. Can they make it happen? Doesn't look like it. Player in touch. Be an UNC lineout.
See these NCR coaches poll power rankings scrolling across your screen, and you just saw Belmont Abbey. That is one of the smaller colleges here in North Carolina, just down the road in the Charlotte area. That is the only team. They're Division I. These two teams are Division I AA, and Belmont Abbey is the only team last year that beat the Tar Heels on the rugby pitch. So they're looking to improve on even that this year and get into the playoffs.
UNC loses their second line out. NC State's going to hoof that one downfield. Look to find some room. Ball bounces in behind the waiting fullback back there, or wing potentially. Ball comes across from UNC. UNC, a lot of pressure coming on from the Wolfpack right now. Able to clear this one away, having to run back in. A little bit of trouble. They want to get rid of that one. That was James McLaughlin, the economics and mathematics major from Staten Island. Ball goes back, winds up in the hands of Dan Bennett. Dan Bennett, certainly a player to watch. Well, was pointed out by Pat Clifton. Everywhere at the moment. Ball down again into Kennedy's hands. Kennedy's got some runners. Kennedy puts it up to one of the big fellas. Recycled well. They're going to continue to work this left-hand side. Three-man pods, just using the power runs at the moment. Haven't seen tip passes quite yet. Traffic being directed there by Charlie Whitaker. You see him in number 10 telling the players what he wants to see. Will they go to the forwards again, or will they change things out? Good work of the counter ruck by UNC. Trying to get over that one. They have to go to the pick and go. A little slow down there. Just gave enough time to one of these Tar Heels players to get it over. You have Josh Kennedy looking, asking the referee, is there a penalty here? Referee says no, let's play. Through the line they go, and nice work again by UNC. Just finding those outside shoulders and getting through the space. There is Datuna Giorgadze from Tbilisi, Georgia. Went to the American Academy Tbilisi. Now the ball up to the 6'5" Charlie Howard, wearing number 4. Howard takes that one in. Back in the hands of Kennedy. Kennedy off to the left. Kennedy gets it there to Bennett. Bennett looking for a runner. Finds it in Henry Jones. Not finding a ton to go forward right now is NC State, but they might find it through Harb. Harb makes a couple of yards. And well recycled by this NC State team. They're going to go with the pick and go here. Players got to make sure he doesn't get a little isolated or ripped out of the hands by UNC. Referee Gronwald has, I believe, just a scrum advantage here. The ball comes in to Charles Sharon. Sharon, the 6'7" second row from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, studying nuclear engineering at NC State. NC State working their way a bit by bit towards the UNC try line. Ball up to Whitaker. Whitaker chips that one through. It comes off the post. They're going to come back for a knock-on. A nice, healthy advantage there for referee Gronwald. Another attacking opportunity coming for NC State, or for NC State.
Your boys or their boys?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm a little confused. I saw an NC State knock-on early, and not much advantage played here. Usually it's ball in hand, and that's plenty for a knock-on advantage. Maybe it was obstruction on the kick that he's calling. But that's certainly a long advantage if he's just coming back to the
knock-on, so that's what we're coming back to here. Will be an NC State Wolfpack scrum. They've been powerful so far, taking a couple of tight heads against this UNC team. So this is an attacking platform they were like. Giorgadze maybe just champing at the bit to look at that try line. He gets it up into the hands of Kennedy. Kennedy moves it out. Doesn't go to hand. It's going to be a UNC line out. Little mistake there in the 8-9 combination.
Well, you can tell this is a rivalry game, can't you? The hits are a little bit harder, a little more violent right now. The Wolfpack getting the better of it. These two teams played last fall, in a little scrimmage, just a 60-minute scrimmage, so you wouldn't even call it a full-fledged game, and it was 2 points to the Tar Heels' favor. Here you see NC State flinging the ball, but it just is going to get mishandled by the Wolfpack on the last pass to the outside here.
Cesar Héricourt from Lille, France. Waiting for that one on the left-hand side. Couldn't take it to number 11, so they're going to bring this back in. It's going to be another NC State scrum. See what they decide to do with this one. You can see Giorgadze loves to come off the back.
It's twice now we've seen the Tar Heels look to kind of save themselves and have an opportunity to clear their lines and get their heels off their own try line, and then they've coughed the ball right back up.
set.
Ball is in. Georg Gazi has it at his feet. They're driving forward. Kennedy's going to move it away. They're going to try to run this one into the backs, and they do. Get the ball to Piasecki, but it slips and comes back into UNC hands. See what UNC will choose to do with this one. UNC, the ball in the middle of the field. Get it in the hands of Benji Garland. Referee has had enough, didn't see the advantages, so he's going to come back here. It's going to be a scrum for UNC just outside their own 22.
Yeah, nice long advantage on that knock-on, so that's fair play. As long as both teams get the same discretion, we're all good. And now North Carolina, this is their best chance to clear their lines they've had so far, assuming they can retain the ball. When NC State has had the put, they have put the Tar Heels on skates pretty quickly. That last one, Yorgadzi was having trouble keeping up with the scrum as he was trying to dribble the ball at his feet. So if the Tar Heels can get this one out cleanly, hopefully they can clear their lines and get a little breathing room.
Ball come in from Vance, the Chapel Hill Highlander, but stolen away. Giorgadzi got it out quickly. They had to move it back. Gets it in the hands of Whitaker. Whitaker finds a little bit of room there. Players coming in to clean that one off, and they have done. Final one was Henry Jones, the Asheville, North Carolina native. Nice step there. Good footwork in the big forwards from NC State. Always finding just a little more room, either by footwork or by power, that you see right there from Harb. Kennedy again moves it out, puts it back in. Not finding that width quite, but there's David Scott, the South African. It takes the next one into contact. Looking wide they go. Do they have some room here? Can they move it? They've got almost a 2-on-1 in the corner there, but keeping it is going to be Ben Crest, launching himself face first into that tackle. Kennedy there finds a waiting forward, and Giorgadzi. Giorgadzi cannot break it. Kennedy moves it away, gets it in the hands of Sharon. Sharon recycles. Quick ball coming from NC State. Wolfpack still working through the phases here pretty confidently. They've got the numbers. They're going to go back in the other direction. Ball goes to Scott. Scott steps around one. See the post right in behind there. If they can get this, he's got to get it to the ground. Scott, he has gotten his knees down. Referee is telling players to roll away. They work that one out to Kennedy. Off to the left-hand side they go. Little space opens up, but not able to wriggle through are the Wolfpack. Player caught in there, so we're going to come to the penalty for not rolling away. Player just stuck right in there. Great pressure from the Wolfpack, forces that penalty.
That's right, this sustained pressure. You know, if this was in the middle of the field, I don't think you'd be impressed by the amount of yardage that North Carolina State is able to garner, but all of a sudden, when you get inside that attacking 40, these little meters mean everything, and sometimes the defense will panic a little bit, playing that much defense under pressure. And this time it was just 25, not rolling away quickly enough from the breakdown. Unfortunate for him, but you got to get out of there a little quicker. Slowing the ball down for the attacking team deep in the end there is usually going to be a penalty, and this time the Wolfpack are going to have an opportunity to tee up 3 points and break this early stalemate.
See the flag on top of the post there. It's getting a little windy around here in that beautiful Chapel Hill. Hurricane wreaking a little havoc inland as well, as you see the kick lined up. And off the post it comes. Ball is still live. You don't see this very often, but we are on the grow. NC State could wind up with 5 instead of 3. We'll see if they can move this ball quickly enough. Kennedy right behind it, but picked up by Giorgadze. Giorgadze hands it off there into the hands of Tomlinson. Tomlinson is at the line. NC State, this is where this big size and power may come through. Referee Gronwald coming around. He's right on the spot there if they can get this ball to the ground. UNC players try to stay under, but they cannot do so, and try awarded to NC State. First points on the board in the game.
I mean, North Carolina gave them, they had to work for that one. They're 14 minutes under the pump, the entire opening salvo of this game, and the Tar Heels held strong, turned them away, made this much larger Wolfpack team that's just sprinting at the line in numbers, really work hard to get this try, and they touched it down about as wide as you can before you go into touch. Just a slow series of pick and goes here, just taking inch by inch, eating up probably 3 defenders there and finding a little patch of turf in the corner to dot it down on. North Carolina State taking their early lead here. I'd like to see UNC play some offense and see what they got. So far, I know that they're pretty tough in defense, even though they're a little small. I'd like to see the Tar Heels get into some offense and see if they can move the ball around themselves.
Couldn't quite get a try score in there. It looked like it might have been a Harb that went down with the ball, but a lot of the big front row involved in that. See a tougher kick here, a bit of an angle for Whitaker. Pardon me, that may not be Whitaker taking the kick. Lines it up, drives it towards this beautiful sunset in Chapel Hill, but that one's not going to hit, so we're going to be at 5-0. 15 minutes gone in this Carolina game. Beautiful matchup here. Pat, it has been really all Wolfpack so far.
It really has been. I mean, North Carolina's had a couple opportunities to get out of their own end. Couldn't quite capitalize on those mistakes from the Wolfpack and found themselves defending the entire time. But to be under that much pressure and to only crack once is that says something. And let's see if North Carolina can generate a little pressure of their own here.
UNC lines up for the kick. Little shorter. This one's going to make the 10. NC State's going to come down with it, no problem. Runs on that ball. UNC was trying to challenge. Ball up here to the try scorer, Harb. Harb is going to power his way in. Find a few yards as he has been wont to so far in this game. Ripped away by UNC. Referee Gronewald's fine with it. UNC opportunity here to lay this one down the other end. We're going to come back to a penalty against NC State. See what the Tar Heels decide to do.
It's a second great poach from James McLaughlin, the sophomore hooker we've seen tonight. Was able to steal this one out of the breakdown and get playing offense so quickly because of a good counter ruck here.
This could be a little bit of a game changer for UNC. They've been under the pump, as Pat pointed out, for a bit of this game. About 17 minutes gone right now. A try here would do them a lot of good. And in terms of mental awareness in the game, much better mood and feeling if they can touch this one down. They have a great line out. Need a ball, however.
Last time they threw in, we saw the Wolfpack muck it up pretty quickly.
Pack does have that height. UNC comes down with that one. They're going to move it away to a couple of waiting forwards there. They're going to Garland's hands first. He had a couple of his forwards waiting out there. A little slip. Ball goes to the ground. UNC able to recycle this one. Coming around for some runners. Garland again looking for a little offload there. Garland got that ball to Bud. Bud got that haul out to one of his back row teammates. Now it's on the ground, rolling towards touch. Goes in a touch. We'll see whose ball it's going to be. It will be NC State's. Good defense, good effort there from the Tar Heels. Just couldn't quite get there.
Good bit of handling there from Ty Mendenhall to catch that ball and move it wide, but you might want to eat that one. If you got a number 8 on your back and you're inside the 15-meter channel, there's not a lot of space for that back outside you. It's probably best you take that one into contact. I think if he could have it back, he probably would have taken that tackle himself instead of offloading to a lonely winger.
NC State comes down with it cleanly, is going to run it for a bit out of their own zone. Good confidence in their recycling abilities down in their own end. They're making a little more room for a kicker, just having to go as Harb takes it into contact. Now they'll go to the boot. They've made themselves a little room, work their way towards this side of the field. Long breaking kick into that Chapel Hill evening, taken by the Tar Heels. Tar Heels, see what they can make out of this. A few yards they do make, a few more yards they definitely make. A couple of good steps there by the Tar Heels. They are looking strong. Ball squirts out of the back. Looked to be like a player was out of that. Offsides from NC State, but referee Gronewald does not agree. Ball back to the Wolfpack. Our Palestinian player yet again eventually take it down. That UNC player is stuck in the middle there, but the ball does come out, so referee's going to let it play on. And on we go, Wolfpack. Bennett yet again. Kennedy looking for a target. We're going to come back here. The referee's going to penalize NC State, so UNC will stay down in the Wolfpack zone.
Not sure what the infraction was, but it seems pretty clear it was on the scrum half, so it's a good break here for North Carolina. They've got some good skills out back, out wide, in the backs. get the early indication that North Carolina might like to play this ball on its feet, play this game on its feet with the ball up in the air, moving it sideline to sideline, where NC State would be very content to play it more on the ground with those giant, lumbering, pounding forwards.
Certainly do have the size advantage there.
Tar Heels won one and lost one so far of their own throws in the lineout. Last time they were down here, they were able to sneak it to that first receiver. Not a lot of deception or movement in their lineout so far.
Ball knocked off the top, because back UNC way, rolls it a touch. We'll see what the touch judge assistant referee says. There's going to be a line out for NC State. Went out off a UNC Tar Heels player about 20 minutes ago on in this first half of this Carolina game. 5-0 to NC State. NC State ball in hand. Kennedy moves it. Little miscue there, so have to just take this one in, and they do. Kennedy looking for some runners. Big power run again coming in from Ibrahim Harb. He has made ground every time he's done it, but a little knock on there from NC State. Ball winds up in UNC's hands. They have a knock-on advantage. We'll come back for that. Nothing happening there, just a little spill at the front of a forward pod.
Another good break for the Tar Heels here. Wolfpack leaking a couple of unforced errors in their own end.
Player it down for UNC. Hope that player is okay.
But what a great setting for college rugby. I'm impressed every week we come on here. What's fun is getting to tour the country and see all these different collegiate rugby venues. We started at Harvard, then we went to Notre Dame and Stinson Rugby Field and Hooker Field here tonight, right in the heart of campus. We saw some intramural soccer happening in the Tri-Zone where we were warming up just on the outskirts, on the footsteps of the old basketball arena, and here in, of course, a famous part of basketball country and college basketball country. So it's a gorgeous setting. I can't imagine.
I keep getting lost in the sunset pad. What a beautiful evening. I mean, the hurricane weather is bringing in some interesting colors here, but yeah, you're right. This campus is amazing. Field is amazing. Wonderful venue for this National Collegiate Rugby Friday Night Rugby Series.
I grew up watching these teams play, you know, football and basketball on TV, getting to call the games now in rugby on the internet. It's quite fun.
Certainly is. Everybody's up and good to go. Referee Gronwald. Gets the ball over there to Will Vance. Vance, little discussion with Condra, the senior from Nashville. Played at the International School of Bangkok, the Bangkok Lions. Played number 10 for UNC, another big, powerful scrum. What a weapon NC State has. All squirted out, but they are going to get the penalty here. I think they will go to the well on that one every single time tonight, Pat.
Yeah, the set pieces are proven to be a problem for sure for the smaller Tar Heels team. You know, there's a lot you can do in lineouts to kind of even the playing field. And you win the lineouts, you win the ball on the ground with your speed on the ground. But those scrums, man, when there's a team that much larger than you, it's tough to contend with.
NC State initially doesn't find touch, but it goes in eventually, so they're going to get the line out here. So we're taking a look at this power from them. Pat Clifton, talk about it.
That's right. I mean, North Carolina nowhere near low enough. And the problem, though, is if the lower they get, the more leverage these big, long locks and back rowers and even front rowers for NC State are going to get. And just not much luck there for the North Carolina Tar Heels. But they got to get a lot lower than that, sink their cleats into the turf, and hope for the best.
Red Lightning puts that one in to Charlie Howard, business management major from Rye, New York. They go around the back this time to NC State, find a runner. Rain starting to come down here at Hooker Field. Nice move, they've got some room. Bounces off a couple, does Henry Jones. The Asheville, North Carolina native. Now they're gonna move it back across, slips out of the hands. Maintained, it went backward. There's Harb, I think he's carried as much as everybody else in the field combined so far tonight. Big run by Gyurgadze.
Ty, get up! Ty, get up! You gotta step.
Looking for some runners. They find one of the big boys. One of the tall second rows gets in. They're able to clean that one out. Kennedy looking at his options. UNC players take an opportunity to just dig in there, but maybe illegally so, says the referee. So we're going to have a penalty for NC State. He's going to want to have a chat, I believe, with one of the UNC players or with both captains.
You get on with your game, and we all have fun, okay? Let's go. Contact!
Massive hit there from North Carolina State, the ball carrier delivering the blow on that one. The Tar Heel came in a little high and got the worst for it.
That one's going to wind up down and may wind up being an NC State ball again. NC State having a little trouble with these multi-line fields. Sometimes players don't know exactly which one's the touch line. Just gets in your way a bit. And it seems like NC State is suffering from that just a touch as they're trying to find touch in there on their penalties. So going to have to rectify that one.
Yeah, it's tough to it can be tough to track. That can be the downside of playing in the heart of campus. There's a lot of teams that have access to this field, but nonetheless, you got to figure out the pitch, and no excuses here for the Wolfpack.
Ball in. It's going to be at Giorgadze's feet. A little shunt to the left-hand side. They're going to put this one out to the backs. They have some runners coming. Going out wide. It's a huge space opening up there. It's closing down now. Can they get the bridge pass over the top? Doesn't quite go. A little footwork from Harricourt, the Frenchman. St. Paul School was a champion of Flanders in rugby. They're in northern France. Ball up to Giorgadze. Giorgadze. One down for Kennedy. Whitaker there, moves it out, waiting pot of forward, just running off the 10 this time, and that's the man, Dan Bennett. Front row players for NC State don't particularly like to go to ground on the first contact. Keeping that one alive, they get up to Harb. Harb puts it across the field. Did it go forward? No, it didn't. Referee is good with it, but UNC winds up ball in hand. Middle of the field, inside their own 22. Opportunity to clear this one. Ball fed out there from Brunelli. Fullback for the Tar Heels. Brunelli, a senior from Charlotte. Now a waiting pod, little tip pass there. It spreads that defense just a little wider. Good power in the tackle from NC State. UNC having a battle for every meter here. Now having to step back inside. We'll see where this ball winds up. It winds up in the boots of Biasecki, but referee's going to bring that one back. Penalty against NC State. UNC the opportunity to move the chains here.
That was late. 10 red.
Relentless pressure here from the Wolfpack, but a little bit over aggressive. And getting pinged for no wrap there. North Carolina's really got to clean this thing up and play a little bit more methodically in their own end. Cherish possession. Yeah, just coming a little high on that attempt. And with just one arm. Which helped spring that ball free. Looked like it could have been a sure try for the Wolfpack, but a penalty the other way. Tar Heels just down 7, under this, or down 5 nonetheless, under this much pressure this early on. The Tar Heels feel very into this game, considering some of the advantage North Carolina State has on their side.
And there you see 66 degrees, windy with rain showers, and then pretty gusty. It's going to get, it's predicted to get worse as this game goes on. So we'll see how that plays a factor. And you're right, just down 5-0. UNC. Nice, a good defense, a little bit of luck on occasion.
They're going to have to clean up these lineouts if they're going to be able to take advantage of these penalties. It's difficult to get dominated both in the breakdown and in the set piece and win games. And this big, the Wolfpack are beating them around the park, but they've got to be able to hold their own in these set pieces.
That one goes over the top of the line out there. I thought it might have been knocked on by one of the NC State players. UNC has come down with it. Need to do something with his ball, however. The player eventually gets themselves in there. Condra goes into the distributor spot. That one looked like it went forward, and it did. It went forward into another player's hands there. So we're going to have an offsides. We're going to have a penalty here for NC State. Looks like they're going to slow down and go for either a line out or a set move.
It's tough to catch a ground ball. This ball bounces a little funny. It's hard to catch that one if you're a third baseman and it's just a little round ball, let alone this oblong thing coming up at you. So expectedly bobbled.
Expectedly, NC State calls for a scrum. This is their PowerPoint. We'll see what they're going to do with this kind of ball, Pat.
See what kind of soccer skills Gorgadze has at the back of the scrum. He may try to keep it in and just march this thing over. I know it's quite a ways out, but...
Here they go. Gorgadze is going to go off to the right-hand side. He's going to hand off one. Going to get taken down into contact eventually. UNC player, great job with a poach there. They have been effective at just stopping this NC State with attack with a well-timed jackal. Now the ball goes out a little wider for NC State. Is this where they want to play the game? Down to the ground they go. That one slips, kick towards touch. UNC player down on it. Back NC State way. A little dribble through. Now it's a foot race. We'll see who's going to wind up with this one. They're outside of the try zone. Just as UNC going to have to clear their lines. Powering into their defensive spots are the Wolfpack. Wolfpack stop the Tar Heels just about 5 meters out. Player rolls away. They've gotten it into the try zone, but it's been knocked on under pressure. It's going to come back, I believe, to an NC State scrum.
Yeah, it's a tough play from Granelli, the fullback. It's not an easy one to make. Sorry, that was, I might have misidentified. I think that was Condra, the fly half. Not an easy play to make. Catching the ball with your heels on your own dead ball line, and then being expected to punt it out while the other team's tight head prop is sprinting at you.
Yeah, a little frustration there for him. We'll come back. It's going to be a scrum. This time just 5 meters out, Pat. So a much better opportunity for a pushover try from this NC State team.
I tell you, the push was on last time. Gorgadze couldn't have picked it up any faster, though. I mean, his teammates in front of him in the second row were practically sprinting, and he yanked it out immediately and got isolated and turned the ball over. So let's see if he can display. Maybe soccer's not as big a game in Georgia. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. Could be. Then a couple of interesting ones. And on another one, you know, they really had UNC just driving backwards like they were on roller skates. And they decided to go to the backs instead. Gorgadze should have some room to run if they put this pressure on. See what they do, and this time is Kennedy, the junior. Gets that ball in.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Playing soccer right there. Just keep it into the scrum. Pick it up at the last second.
He looks like he knocked that one on, however. The referee is going to come back for a penalty at the scrum against UNC. And lucky for NC State because Gorgadze had just nipped that one forward just a bit.
Yeah, I would do the exact same thing for the Wolfpack here. You start mounting these penalties, you're probably just one or two more away from a penalty try, which is an automatic 7 points. And this time it looks like it's the flanker here on the weak side, coming unbound and poking his head up a little bit.
Kennedy, the Irish player, feeds that one in. Gorgadze has it at his feet again. Looking towards that try line that's collapsed over there. Gorgadze driven back. Kennedy fires that one off to the right-hand side. There's space out wide. Will they get it here this time? Little trouble with that last pass each and every time. They've had Henry Jones, however, is going to sprint around a couple, finally find some room, and another 5 points on the board for the Wolfpack. With a little individual work out wide, and they double their score. Kick to come, 32 minutes, 10-0 NC State.
It's a senior captain right there, 6'2", Henry Jones out of Asheville, North Carolina. Fun fact says he can eat 7 burritos a week. That is his weekly diet of a champion.
It's only really one a day, Pat.
Yeah, you think about it. It's good discipline, though. Offload here from Gorgadze. Not the plan. This isn't usually how you score from a 5-meter scrum, but great improvisation, and the Tar Heel defense just gets a little too narrow. And Henry Jones is able to evade a tackler or two, using some of that burrito power to muster himself over the line and dot it down.
Industrial and Systems Engineering major at NC State is Henry Jones. Concentration. Getting a measure of the ball here. Henry Jones to follow up his try. It was no good. We're going to stay at 10, 33 minutes gone, 7 minutes or 6.5 left in the first half of the game clock here in this Carolina game.
And North Carolina State really getting the better of University of North Carolina here, and the only times they've kind of come up short is when they've been stubbing their own toes, making their own mistakes. Could have happened here. He could have had an obstruction call. And in fact, the Gonzaga High School national champion turned around and started calling for it, but finally the pressure was rewarded from the Wolfpack.
My mistake. It was Jones who scored the try, didn't take the kick there. You're 10-0 here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Good warm-up.
NC State player a little bit on his own, but makes a nice break there, leaves it behind, however. Having a recycler of the Wolfpack. UNC defense lines themselves up, trying to put a little pressure on. They've been able to stay down this end just a bit. Penalty against them. Not rolling away at the contact area there. So this will be a penalty for the Wolfpack. Their opportunity to take some possession or take some territory, move it downfield.
North Carolina State really dominant all over the park, dominant in the set piece, dominant in the breakdown. And you see a little bit of sense of urgency here from North Carolina, maybe a sense of panic, resulting in a penalty.
Line out.
Tar Heels just got to.
Go ahead, Pat.
North Carolina's just got to slow down a little bit, possess the ball, get through some phases, and that's how you generate stress on that defense and flip the table here.
Long one from Kennedy, looking at a wraparound. They're going to go for a long-range run here, looking to get it wide. Have done, have gotten it out there. NC State, do they have the gas? They moved it out there to Crest, but he's taken into contact. And Crest from Paris, France. Taken out, it's going to be a UNC lineout.
Push them across all four lines right there. Both red ones and the blue one and the black one. Really impressed so far by the North Carolina hooker here at McLaughlin. He's made some really, really tough plays around the park with ball in hand and in defense, and a nice line-out throw there.
UNC comes down with this one. Go for a little bit of run there through Kip Sullivan. Vance moves it out into the hands of Condra. Condra gets it in the midfield. NC State player digging for that ball and doesn't get it. Comes off his feet. Hasn't moved away, so we're going to come back for a penalty to UNC. 3.5 minutes of the game clock for the first half.
It's a good boot there from Condra. When he connects cleanly and has the space to kick, he's got some good ability. They've got some skill and some players here in the back line. Just off your feet there a little bit in the breakdown from NC State and from the Wolfpack. If you're going to bend over and play that ball, you got to put your hands on it. I'd like to see the Tar Heels go to a little bit more of a kicking game in the second half.
It was good work there by UNC to really trap those NC State players in. Ball comes down to NC State, however. Up to Yurgadzi. Gets the Harb. Harb held up by a couple of Tar Heels players, so it slows things down just a touch. Go the ball up to Charles Sharon there. And we look off to this left-hand side, get the ball to David Scott. Scott takes it in. Bennett coming over the top there. They're looking a little wider now. They're going to go for a kick. The kick is going to come off a UNC player. Puts him under just a little bit of pressure. That's David McCarthy. McCarthy eventually gets the ball away. Hanging high, rolling down there. It is headed towards the try zone, but will stay outside. UNC going to have to gather pressure on this UNC player. Just a forest of red and white jerseys around him. And ripped away from that defensive pressure. It's NC State's ball. You can see the try line in the back there. Which way will they go? They're going to go off to this left-hand side to a waiting forward. Does he have what it takes to get there? Not quite. Referee's going to bring it back, however.
A great turn of events there from David McCarthy. He's able to scramble free, get a punt off, kick it over the top of the Wolfpack defense. It dribbles even deeper towards the try line, and great chase by his Wolfpack teammates to put the Tar Heels under pressure and turn the ball over.
Ball was in touch, however, to come all the way back for a UNC lineout. Minute and a half to go on the game clock here. Was waiting to see what happened. Assistant referee just stayed in one spot, knew the ball was in touch, knew it was going to be UNC lineout, so a lot of play for naught there. Looks like McCarthy must have stepped out, or player he passed to here, that kick away.
Unbelievable. Her arm must be tired. She's holding that flag up for quite a while where we thought the Wolfpack were getting ready to score.
I was wondering if it was halftime. Ball to the front from UNC. Harb driving a player towards touch and gets him there. And that's going to be halftime here at Hooker Field in the University of North Carolina. It's the Carolina game. It's NCR Friday Night Rugby. NC State, the Wolfpack, lead the Tar Heels 10-0. We're going to step aside for a few minutes and bring you a second half action. Stay tuned.
Rugby is all about feeling. The feeling when you crouch, when you bind, when you set. The feeling when you go into that first defender. The feeling when you make that first tackle. The feeling when you take that first hit. We are that feeling. We are contact. We are Rhino.
All-Star Tournament is a tournament put on by National Collegiate Rugby. Actually, it's two tournaments. We do it on both the men's and the women's side as an opportunity to get our players together from around the country to come in for a tournament. And each side, each All-Star tournament has separate regions, and managers of those regions go out and identify and select players to come in for the competition. This year's competition is going to take place in Round Rock, at the Round Rock Athletic Complex outside of Austin, Texas. The men's tournament will take place on January 6th and 7th, and the women's tournament will take place on January 20th and 21st. We're trying to standardize that process. One of the reasons that I came in to help NCR with the tournaments was to try to standardize that approach a little bit. Right now, we're still in a situation where that's controlled at the region level. So each region is using a different means of identifying talent as well as inviting players in. And so one of the goals for us over the next few years, this is my, I came in last year late, and so this is my first full year in the role. So one of my goals in being involved is to try to standardize that nomination process for a couple reasons. One, so that everyone's using the same process and we all start to kind of understand how it works. And then number two, so that we can start tracking and identifying players ourselves as an organization. For us to start at NCR as a global unit to start identifying players at the what I would say the national level rather than just at the regional or local level. A lot of fun. I mean, look, one of the primary reasons we do this is to increase value and experience, through our events and programmings for our members, right? So, I think there's a lot of value added for these players. Most teams come in anywhere from Tuesday to Thursday. They meet some of their teammates for the first time. They're getting into some training sessions together. They have a couple of days of build up, and they play together in this tournament. Again, it's a little bit different. Some of the teams last year were able to hold a couple of camps and actually hold a couple of training sessions before they came. But some regions are a little more geographically challenged. If you look at the West or the Midwest, a lot of those teams are pretty far apart. So it's really hard to kind of bring those teams together ahead of time. So some of them, they're meeting for the first time when they get there. But it's a great experience. They're getting off the plane together. They're traveling to the hotel. All the teams stay in the same hotel. They're traveling back and forth and training at the complex leading up to the tournament. And then the tournament, is an opportunity to, have 2 full days of rugby against some of the best players in the country. Yeah, I guess I see it 2 ways on both the men's and the women's side. I think there's 2 unique things about an all-star event. Those players who are the best player on their team also get to raise the level of other players, right? So it's an opportunity for someone who maybe played small college to get to rub elbows with some Division I players and learn and train next to those players. But I also think it's a valuable experience for those D1 players to practice some leadership skills, maybe to pass on some fundamentals that maybe some of the players aren't getting exposed to. So I think that cross breeding is extremely important. We're really encouraging these regions to include those small college teams in the tournament. Both by having a Rising Stars competition where we can get some of those smaller colleges represented, but we're also encouraging our regions to select those small college players into those all-star rosters as well. And so, to me, I think it's a huge value. And frankly, one of my goals is to increase those kind of opportunities for the small college player and those callers, maybe players at D2 or D1 AA. And get them some exposure. One of our focuses is to really expand the opportunities for these players. There's a couple of pillars important to me. I think one, player and coach development. I think we've got to increase our role in on and off field growth for both our players and our coaches. So we're looking to bring in some more training and some hands-on courses for our coaches and our players. And also experiential opportunities for our players. I know Smarto brought in some of the PR7s coaches last year and had the women go through some training sessions with their coaches. So I think those kind of opportunities, we're going to try to increase those. I also think looking at expanding our touring and what we're doing with these players. In other words, having that all-star event in January be the start of our calendar. And looking for other opportunities for these players to compete, whether it's overseas or domestically. We had, I'll just use, Tri-States as an example. That they have an all-star team and also a Rising Stars team. And, I think some of those players, of those 30, maybe 5 of those guys get to go on tour somewhere else in the year, and I think that's the way we're looking at it is, can we add some other value here, some other tournaments, other opportunities to play? Look, if players are looking to get involved with the All-Star tournament, I'm happy to be a conduit for that. Players can reach out to me. My contact information's on the website. But you can also identify there the regions and who's leading those regions on our website. And so if you're unsure of where you sit, maybe reach out to me. But if your region, if you're sitting out here in Connecticut, you're going to be linked to Tri-States. You can reach out to the Tri-States region. And all of those teams, we're developing right now the nomination form for those region managers to send those forms out to the team. So all the teams will have I'd really encourage people, especially those that haven't been to an NCR event, to get out to the All-Stars this year. It's a great opportunity to see some really exciting rugby and to support our young student athletes. I mean, we have a lot of kids that, are traveling all the way from California down to Austin and Maine down to Austin. And, you get to see, kind of a snapshot of all the exciting rugby that we have going on around the country. So it's a really affordable way to come down and catch some great rugby talent.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Welcome back to Chapel Hill, rainy Chapel Hill, where NC State, the Wolfpack, leads 10-0 over the UNC Tar Heels in this Carolina game. National Collegiate Rugby's Friday Night Rugby. North Carolina State ready to kick off here to get the second half underway. I am John Broker, joined by the People's commentator, Pat Clifton, for this second half matchup. We're going to get underway. We'll bring in Pat's thoughts about what UNC needs to do, just trailing 10 points, but it's been a lot of NC State so far. Let's see what the Wolfpack back it up with here. A left-footed kick that goes long down to this beautiful central part of campus. UNC in front of their home crowd on the run, looking to make a big run to start out in this second half. Pulling some runners out to this left-hand side. Pressure coming in. Little ball spilled forward there by the Tar Heels. Referee's going to whistle this one up. Referee Gronwald doing a great job in this game. Pat Clifton, what do these Tar Heels need to do to right the ship here?
Exactly what they just did not do there, which is they need to clean up some of their own mistakes. Frankly, they've got to make the Wolfpack play with a longer field and play under a little less pressure themselves. And it's mistakes like that all night that have been bailing out the Wolfpack and giving them great field position when they're these great forwards, this great direct game of the Wolfpack. You need to put some meters between them and the try line.
Referee sees a penalty at the scrum here. Awards it against UNC, so NC State set up again. Referee calling time off, however.
The turf monster ate up some of that forward's forehead there, unfortunately, on that last play.
Penalty here. We'll see if they decide to go for another scrum. And they have done. It's going to be NC State ball. Opportunity here. Push another one in and see Ben Scudder in the game. Wearing number 20 there. Scudder, the junior from Apex, North Carolina. As well as Evan Thomas in. Scrum half, senior from Raleigh. Played for the Raleigh Redhawks. They call him ET. His name is Evan Thomas, so that kind of makes sense. Little run coming in from NC State. NC State take that one into contact. See the try line in the back. Raheem Harb, always happy to run the ball, always happy to make a little bit of ground. Very hard worker is Harb. Back into Bennett. Bennett with footwork wriggles through a couple. Players getting ripped away by the Tar Heels. Player come in illegally. Referee Gronwald says it's fine. Let's keep playing. A little bit of quagmire in the middle of the field here. Not going too far as Evan Thomas moves that one. A lot of this graft all game. Not a lot of wide play on a rainy evening like tonight as Bennett goes for another crash. Does the 6', 252-pound history major. Ball to ground, taken in by Thomas, but it's kicked out by one of the NC State players. Taken down on the ground by Benji Garland. Penalty against UNC at their own ruck here. NC State ball. They're going to go quick through Whitaker. Whitaker's looking at the line. Whitaker's at the line. Whitaker's over the try line. 5 points, a minute and 12 gone in this second half. NC State adds to their lead. Pat Clifton, very good opening from the Wolfpack.
That's right, NC State, Charlie Whitaker, the English fly half, picking it up here. Quick instincts to take the ball very quick off that penalty and dive over for the try. He knew all along that he was going to be able to score this one after the penalty here from North Carolina. He goes in over the top of that ball early on. Gronwald right on top of it. He was the one trying to steal the ball originally. He comes up with it, marches to the mark, pushes the referee out of the way, and then dodges a couple Tar Heels to dive over for that score and give the Wolfpack a 3-try lead. It's becoming commanding at this point. The Tar Heels having a real tough time getting any front foot whatsoever. And NC State reminds me of one of those old medieval, movies where the guys are trying to break into the castle and they have that giant piece of lumber and they just keep bashing the door. Eventually those Wolfpack they're gonna get over. There may be a knock on here or there may be a penalty here or there, but they're gonna keep bashing and eventually that door is gonna give, and that door on this occasion is the Tar Heel defense for the third time tonight.
Yeah, great try by Whitaker there. He's from a rugby family. Says his younger brother Bobby is the best rugby player in the family. So Bobby, if you're tuning in, you got a little credit there from your brother. As NC State will line up the kick. And it curls right in. The first conversion of the night. So we're at 17-0. Just a couple minutes gone in this second half of this Carolina game. UNC
I mentioned earlier that NC State moving up from Division II to Division I AA this year. So this is a big statement game for them. This is the top team in their conference in that division. Here's Whitaker wriggling across, just making McLaughlin, who's reaching for his hamstring. He's been pulling for that hamstring and reaching for it this entire second half. I know he's struggling a little bit with injury there. But this is a really great performance for NC State, moving up a division, taking on the top dog in their conference in that division and showing very well tonight. This would have been a dominant team in Division II.
Ball bounces up into the hands of UNC. Good opportunity for them off a little odd mistake from NC State, but NC State able to pick that one up. Gadzi gets through a couple, offloads the ball. Gadzi leaves Evan Thomas, the replacement scrum half, to deal with things, and it's ripped away by the Tar Heels. Waiting pot of forwards for the Tar Heels.
That's
a
the
little
offense
wider.
we've
this
seen
may
from
be
North
more of
Carolina
the Tar
in
Heels
quite a while.
game. He's looking for the width. Haven't been a lot of width this game, but UNC may have a little bit of the pressure out there, a little bit of the better. They come around, and they're going to score their first try of the game. It's a tight game for NC State. It's a wide game for UNC, and they're rewarded with 5 points here in the second half. We have a game on our hands.
North Carolina, they know how to play rugby, evidenced by that one, but they just have to catch pass has been missing them all night. And finally on this one, they connect beautifully. A handful of passes across the park. The last one, really the most composed one. This is one of the toughest ones to make. The dummy inside, under pressure. Just absorbs a huge no-wrap tackle from Henry Jones, the fullback, and still puts it right in the midst of the try score. Fantastic skills from North Carolina to finish that one. Put it away, and miraculously, even though they've been under the pump all night and the Wolfpack have been on top of this one, if he sinks this kick, it's only an 8-point game, and as it stands, it's just 2 tries that separates between these two teams. I mean, this is a fantastic rivalry game we got tonight, and if the Tar Heels can get the ball and a little air around it and play with their backs with some space, I like their chances to make this one a real game.
Player lines up. We'll talk a little bit more about the way this game is going in just a second. Let's take a look. Look at the ball out to the width here. A nice move there from Cardigacia. Move it out, a little show on the inside to the outside, and that one goes, and it is good. That's 7 points to UNC. So, Pat, I've been watching the game as we watch this try here, and NC State has had the dominance in the set pieces and in the tight exchanges with some big fellas. We saw a trip attempt there, a little bit of a mistake almost happened, but I was waiting to see who was going to command the wide channels so they can get out there. It looks like that may be UNC's game. If they can push the ball out into the width, they may be at really benefit from that here.
And one of the major keys to being able to do that is not playing from deep inside your own 22. It's tough to play wide when you have no depth, and you can't have any depth when the try zone, the one you're defending, is right behind you. So the Tar Heels have to get their boot out, get a little bit of turf between them and the try zone they're defending, and then they can play with a little bit of depth and width and see what those backs can do.
Ball rolls out the back of the try zone, looking to bring it all the way back.
This is a great break here for North Carolina. Going to be able to get a good field position starter for them. They're going to have to win the scrum, though, in order
you do have to scrum against NC State, Pat, so that's not too much fun.
Big scrum! Who fucking wants it?
Yep, and North Carolina, they've got some momentum here. You can tell that the sideline is getting louder and louder. It's a rowdy Friday night here in Tobacco Road. At the number 8 Ty Mindenhall here, 6'1", 190 pounds, the freshman out of Charlotte Tigers. He's got to get those long arms in there and pull that ball out so the Tar Heels can win it even when moving backwards.
They've gotten the ball, but it's gone off a foot there. They've got it, they've lost a few meters. They're right 40 meters out from their own line. Got some runners here. They're going to go to the width again. They got a little move to the left. And then Hall hangs onto that one. Mentioned Mendenhall, the sophomore. Ball goes up, winds up going back. NC State tries to pounce through Bennett, but UNC able to hang on that one, losing a little ground. This is those tight exchanges. They're having a little more trouble. Quick ball, maybe the thing for the Tar Heels. They'll pick and go off the back. Doesn't make much ground, just resetting. Now they might make a little bit more as they go. Little pop to the inside, drawing some defense in. See if the width will open up for them. Ball slides in behind them. Miscues coming in as that ball winds up in Robert Behringer's hands. A senior from Salisbury, North Carolina. At Jesse C. Carson High School. Penalty this time against NC State. UNC may have a chance to play from set piece a little further down. The assistant referee wants to come up and talk to a referee Gronwald, so both and Gronwald to have a conversation.
Kind of see NC State get a little bit more patient on defense. When you're that big and you can control the contact area, there's no reason to get over-aggressive or impatient or antsy in the breakdown and try to steal the ball every single breakdown or every single tackle. They just need to go through the phases, get up, play defense, turn the Tar Heels away, do it 2 or 3 times, and they'll get there.
Okay. 6 blue. I don't want to see you lifting somebody out of the rock and dumping them again, okay?
Unfortunately for UNC, the referee has reversed his decision, so it's going to be NC State ball right at the 40-meter line for a dump tackle against a UNC player. Good spot by the assistant referee.
Now NC State calling for the scrum, even 40 meters out. Doesn't matter.
Get lower!
Cries from the sideline for the Tar Heel pack to get lower. That is the first step to turning these scrums into a more winnable contest.
Every front row forward wants to look over and say, you get lower. Ball comes back to NC State off of that one. We're back for the penalty against UNC. That's that dominance we've seen. Eventually a player has to get carded if scrum penalties continue.
I mean, when you are getting beat this badly in the scrum, it just absolutely maximizes and magnifies every single mistake you make. If you drop a ball now, it is a penalty, right? So if you drop a ball, you get a penalty against you. I'm shocked that the Wolfpack are not choosing at all to take any of the yardage with some lineouts here.
Another powerful scrum there from NC State. Another penalty advantage. Replay right here coming around the back. NC State looking to work their way through. That's the try scorer, Henry Jones. Henry Jones can't find his way through this time. Yorgadzi had a hole opened up there, closed eventually. Able to put a little more pressure on that defense. Chip forward from McCarthy. Ball over the top, rolling towards the try line, but off a UNC player. It's going to be a lineup there, but we're going to bring it back to the original penalty. I believe it was a scrum infraction from UNC. And they're on the way. Ball into Evan Thomas's hands. Evan Thomas puts a little dump pass over the top. Ball knocked down intentionally. Impossible try and yellow card coming. We'll see what our referee Gronwald decides here. But that was pretty flagrant. Let's listen in.
Yeah, it's like a two-hand swat down.
Player field there.
Flick of the wrist.
UNC. Intentional knockdown. Pretty blatant. You're going to see it right here. That pass would have put something in the try zone.
He actually was able to get both hands on it. He might have had an opportunity to intercept that thing, but you know, just like the referees, I'm not so sure he attempted to do that and swatted it straight down. So intentional knock on looks like a pretty straightforward call. And the worse gets even worse. The bad gets even worse in North Carolina here.
Yeah, another penalty against UNC at the scrum. See what NC State decides to do. Eventually another card here, Pat, has to come against one of these front row forwards for UNC.
And Dan Bennett, the president for NC State, is certainly emphatic in calling for something. I think we're definitely in penalty try territory at this point. I mean, this is getting on a half a dozen penalties in this possession here. And this far out, you'd like to think that you'd be able to just walk this thing over the way you're able to move the scrum.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
UNC goes down immediately here. Gear Godzi off the back, but the referee gets in the way a little bit, gets the ball to Evan Thomas. Evan Thomas does a fancy little dance, gets the ball back, and here comes the big fella looking towards the line, and over they go. NC State puts another one on the board, and it is Alex Tomlinson this time finding the try zone. Great work, Tomlinson, the junior from Apex, North Carolina, shuts us down. He's been the captain of the USA Rugby South U23, really showing his mettle there.
Tomlinson, one of the in-state talents here for the Wolfpack. Just like last time, you knock on the door eventually, you're going to get in, and that's exactly what the Wolfpack do. Penalty after penalty after penalty. You start to feel a little bit hopeless if you're the Tar Heels. And they just got drug over the line. 1-7, dragging the other over the try line for the score. NC State starting to pull away here.
Tomlinson, 6'4", 250, says he's Ibrahim Harb's personal trainer. They both certainly like to take some bodies on the run with him. So we're at 22-7, kick to come. And looking good, 15 minutes into the second half for the Wolfpack.
Look at this Wolfpack lineup. We talked about the size they had on the starting lineup. It doesn't get much smaller coming off the bench. They got 6'4" and John Dewar, 6'4" and Ben Scudder. Scudder played football for the Wolfpack before joining the rugby team. He's out there now.
McCarthy hits that one. It brings it 24. Great pick from the Irishman, the accounting major from Cork, the Presentation Brothers College. Let's keep missing the board there as we're taking a look at the try.
Using the referee as a little bit of a blocker was Yorgadzi. And there's the captain picking it up and just dragging his opposite across. That's a great score, great highlight for him. The Wolfpack, this is gonna be, I mean, the physicality of this team has got to be top tier. I mean, this is top 5, top 1 maybe, physicality and size. This is elite size in all of college rugby, but in Division I AA, the Wolfpack matchup, getting off the bus with absolutely anybody.
Yeah, they are a very, very large forward pack.
And athletic, too. They're not just big lumbering oafs. They can play.
No.
Bennett off the back again. Bennett fights his way. Ball hits the ground. It's going to go to the boot from NC State. Mix some of the speed out wide that they have with that power and type. They'll do themselves a lot of good. Huge gain. Huge gain for NC State. The line out from UNC deep inside their own end.
Rowdy on the sideline getting a nice big congratulations shove from one of your classmates over there.
No love lost in this Carolina game.
Massive statement win, cannot overstate it for the Wolfpack. Moving up to Division I AA. Saying we're the team to beat in this division, in this conference.
Ball going to come in here from UNC. They've got to get over some of these NC State players. Go to the back with this one. Ball's going to come back to their side, but messy. They're at their own try zone now. Ball is blocked by Yergadzi. They're trying to go over there. What's going to happen? Ball's going to roll out onto the fields in behind. A referee will see what the decision is here.
I'll tell you, Ibrahim Harb, what hustle. The tight head prop, charging that thing down. He has a very large motor. Impressed by him. Both ball in hand, in defense, looking to charge down kicks. Outstanding player up there for the Wolfpack.
It was hard. I thought it was Yergadzi.
Down on the kicker.
A whole lot of human to get on top of you. I won't say the kick there, but looks like it's going to be a goal line dropout. UNC from under the post go long with this. Hits the ground, bounces back into the hands of big Charlie Howard. The Rye, New York native takes it into contact. Gets the ball out to Harb. Harb hit behind the line for probably the first time tonight. UNC trying to rip that one over. They're going to come out, little pass. Yergadzi gets taken down. Evan Thomas, a little whiff on this one. Whitaker puts this one up in the air, looking for the cross kick. How's the bounce going to go? It's going to head towards touch and roll in. They'll line up for UNC, but deep inside their own zone. They've had a lot of pressure at line-out time from the Wolfpack.
Getting a lot of practice in their exit strategy tonight, that's for sure. The Wolfpack doing their best when they're at their big heavies, sprinting at the line and catching it at pace, but the Parisian saw an opportunity with the cross kick and just an unlucky bounce there, or else they might have been able to score it in the corner. And now the Tar Heels see if they can clear their lines a little more effectively than they have so far tonight.
Pressure on the Tar Heels, winds up in the hands of Bennett. Bennett's thinking about that try line. Goes to the ground, did it spill forward? It did not. It's up in the hands of one of his fellow forwards. Squirts out the side. UNC players trying to dive on it. Looked like they might have knocked it on there. Referee says they in fact did. It's going to be a scrum to the powerful Wolfpack forwards.
Well, we've seen this show already tonight. We know what to expect.
Where's the poncho?
Scudder wearing number 20 on his back. Former Wolfpack football player we talked about. Bringing on a big athletic body here in the second half. Punishing these tired Tar Heel forwards.
See them set down, try zone within sight. Drive this one over. UNC going to have to avoid another penalty. They are going backwards quickly there. Ball knocked back in. It's out of Evan Thomas's hands. They moved these 5-meter scrums a couple of times to the back, and they have just the power going over. Referee this time, big whistle. Offsides against UNC. Looking to go quick here are the Wolfpack. They've got the numbers out wide. There's the try zone, and they are in for another one. They'll try to get the number for you, but extending their lead are the NC State Wolfpack through some quick thinking out wide.
No love lost between these two rivals. That seems obvious, and as the score gets uglier, so does the game a little bit. Got the assistant referee. Looked like he was coming in with some intel for the center referee. Wouldn't be surprised if there was some off-the-ball penalties handed out after that conversation. Maybe a high no wrap attempt there from North Carolina.
That was Charlie Howard, the sophomore, went to Rye High School. Budding program, rugby program outside of New York City there. Westchester County. McCarthy looking to add on to this one as NC State extends their lead. And you're right, Pat, get a little chippy out here between these two rivals. The cooler heads prevail as the game rolls forward.
This is the fun afters here between the Parisian, a little chest bump, and then the Irishman comes in and wants some too. And nothing to write home about. No cards there. Let's keep them in the pocket. There's nothing to write home about there. Just a little friendly afters.
Seeing more heated discussions over who has better barbecue down there. So there's just a little let go from those teams. McCarthy lines it up. Sends it over. Referees, assistant referees say that one's not in. So we're 29-7. 63 minutes going in this Carolina game. Yellow card to UNC right now for another few seconds. And as I said that, player came back on the field, so we're at full strength again, Pat. 29-7, NC State in a commanding lead at this point.
Just before that yellow card, we were talking about the Tar Heels and the potency of their back line. Now back at full strength. Let's see if we can get a little glimpse of that action again.
NC State, York-Gazi. Long ball back, kick coming up. NC State, a little position game now. Up into the lights, but well fielded by UNC. UNC some speed here. Get across to the 40-meter line, ripped away, however, by the Wolfpack. Wolfpack, great work there. Couldn't quite get a number. Might have been a second that took that one away. Ball up to McCarthy. Will it hit the ground? It has. Who's going to come down with it? Player lets UNC player come down. So it'll be a second good work there, not to get penalized. But in their own end are the Tar Heels. Tar Heels, some room to make up as they go a little wider with this one. Will pass out the back. They're looking for that width. This is their game. Cutting off some space, unable to get the pass away, just pop it in the air into the hands of the big, strong Alex Tomlinson. The junior takes the ball into contact. A little tussle going on here. Thomas, as scrum halves are wont to do, just breaks off the side and gets shut down. Forwards in, cleaning it up. Thomas gets himself back in position. Harb hit behind the line again. Ball squirts out. Little wet ball in the field. The rain is coming down strongly. UNC dropped that one. Up into NC State hands, and NC State breaking towards the line here. They're going to put some pressure on them. Good jackal by the Tar Heels. Able to recycle it. NC State into touch eventually. Assistant referee Otha indicates that it's going to be a line on here for the Tar Heels.
Physicality still there. Benji Garland with a big hit. This is him, Benji, on a massive counter ruck, flat backing his Wolfpack opposite, who decides to throw in a little headlock. And man, what the physicality we got going on here in Tobacco Road. And we saw the flanker from NC State creeping up.
The referee was looking the other way. There was some little cheeky play there. Ball comes up into UNC hands. Players need to settle down into their game. Ball into touch again. It's going to be an NC State line out. 66 minutes gone. 13.5 minutes remaining in the game clock here. We might have a little bit of referee's time. NC State in the powerful lead right now. As we're taking a look at the weather conditions here. Be worse tomorrow, so glad we're playing tonight. This weather's going to roll up through some national collegiate rugby games in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast tomorrow. Some challenging games up that way. York-Gazi Sit down a little softly, ball bounces, coming around the back. NC State, little mishandle, but the ball went back. Referees final it. Stephen Thompson, the replacement, takes that one in from New Bern, North Carolina. Biomedical engineering major. Gets it up to Bennett. Bennett just loving it out there. Big bump off there. Thomas gets it out. They look the other direction. Little show. Has to take the one back into contact. And Thomas right there. But Thomas has to take it into contact. High tackle advantage against Tar Heels right here. Looking to take advantage of it are the Wolfpack. Wolfpack on back a couple of meters. If nothing materializes here, we'll come back to that penalty. Little step around there from Thompson. Right at midfield, still on the move. Ibrahim Harb takes him across midfield. Hit far back there. Referee's gonna go back, leaving back for the original penalty. Now we have a little bit of discussion between the players here.
Classic college sports right here. This is when it's student body against student body. Before college sports was pseudo-professional sports. These are the guys that grew up in the rivalry, largely. Obviously a high challenge here from McLaughlin. He's having a great night tonight, and a couple of Wolfpack took issue with that.
Hey, let's get another one, boys. Let's go.
Little discussion, little kindness there. Referees Michael Wynn coming through here, hook the field. He's gonna bring it back to the original penalty. Referee team working well in tandem today. We're gonna go back for that high tackle. We'll see what the decision is here from the Wolfpack. Do they take the scrums they like? Yes, they will. This is what they love to do, Pat.
Absolutely. The Wolfpack been dominant in these pack downs all night. Got the Tar Heel number 8 Ty Mendenhall trying to pump up his troops. Trying to light a little fire in their belly.
Coming from North Carolina this time, it's going to squirt out Thomas. But out to Whitaker, they go around the back. This move has worked for them. They got a 2-on-1 out here. Player's going to stay on the inside. Outside just started to close down a touch. Puts the ball back there. It goes by Thomas, but it gets it in the hands of the replacement Thompson. Thompson dishes off to McCarthy. The Irishman is going to roll his way in for a try. Excuse me, not roll his way in for a try. Did he eventually touch that one down? We're going to see what happened here. He might have touched it down before the try zone.
Well, that's unfortunate. We talked about those lines. They confused him there tonight. Not used to that many lines on a rugby field back home in Cork. Great heads-up play by the open side flanker from North Carolina here to recognize he came up a little short. Play rugby long enough, you see this. It's happened before. He shouldn't feel too bad about himself that he was just short of the line.
Yeah, it certainly has happened before. As UNC is going to go our run here. Still up 29-7 are the Wolfpack. Hauled down over the touchline is UNC. Very excited Wolfpack player there. Wants to let everybody know he's happy with his tackle.
That was Domenico Monago, the senior loose head prop chasing down the wing. I mean, even with a good pursuit angle, you don't often see a prop chase down a wing. And he did that time, so I can understand the excitement from Monago.
Referee just stopping while a player from UNC gets attended to here. Just over 10 minutes to go in this contest. Looking like a long road here for the University of North Carolina, Pat. Tough for them to get back in this one.
Yeah, it certainly would at this point. You got about 10 minutes left. You're down by 4 scores. But you can't look at it that way, right? You can only score 1 try at a time, and in fact, you can only make 1 play at a time. For them all night, it's been possession. It's been an issue. So you got to start building phases, building catches and passes, building successful rucks and recycles. That's what they need to focus on. The next thing right in front of them, the next most important job, as Cal head coach Jack Clark would say.
So look at the rain teeming down here. Your God's doing up for that one, but referee Grunwald is going to hold on. Either a replacement or just player going off the field.
Taking a look at these D1 AA power rankings, I have a feeling you're going to make some significant shifts after this upset. Number 18, NC State coming in tonight. The Tar Heels, number 16. That's certainly going to at least flip-flop.
NC State looking strong. The other one goes over the top to Monago. Monago, the man who just had to chase down a winger, got the ball in his hands, but had no room to run. It didn't go straight. UNC has a choice. Imagine they will take the line out. And they have Walter McLaughlin.
NC State, one of the final 4 teams from Division II last year. And the team that ended up winning it all in Division II last year is IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. We'll see them next week, taking on Miami of Ohio right here on Friday Night Rugby.
That'll be an exciting matchup again next week. UNC takes it in. We have to do a doubleheader next week. It's going to be a very exciting weekend. Women's and men's rugby coming your way. Giorgadze gets over that one, tries to rip that ball away. Knocked on in there. It's going to be a scrum for NC State, and nothing they would like better with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the game.
The women's game next week going to be the Kent State Golden Flashes and Pitt. Doubleheader there at Founders Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a fantastic one.
Golden Flashes. Very excited to call that. Just a little over 8 minutes in the game clock here.
Fine. Set.
Evan Thomas gets us started again. The power once again from this NC State pack. Not in the penalty this time. They're going to go to the boot, play this game down the other end of the field. The chase is on the ball, just skidding across the turf a little bit. It's over the try line. A great territorial gain for the Wolfpack. Going to be a Tar Heels, the 50-22, pardon me. And that one's going to go quick there to the Wolfpack. Wolfpack looking at the line, and over the line they go. Try awarded to NC State. Heads up play there on a 50-22. It even had me fooled. NC State extends their lead.
We've talked a lot about their pack tonight and the dominance and the size and the dynamic athleticism they've got up there, but NC State has scored every which way tonight, including off of this scrum that turns into a 50-22, that turns into a quick line out, turns into a quick strike try. Great heads up play. That's the Irishman right there, scooping it up. If anybody else would have touched the ball on that sideline, it would have been a dead ball.
Good work here by NC State. This actually happened in the Rugby World Cup, Pat. It was very unique play there. Take the 50-22, get the ball, work your way in. The Australia-Fiji game that happened. Australia scored off of that.
Really impressed with this NC State outfit. I honestly think that they could be a contender for not just the postseason, but maybe a deep run. They've got a great blend of really dynamic athleticism and size in the forwards, as we mentioned, and international talent at key positions. Yeah, it's very early, and I think they've got a lot of time to polish up what is a really potential-driven team here.
McCarthy no good with that one, but they're at 34-7. 6 minutes in the game clock here. Left in this Carolina game. Tobacco Road matchup between two classic universities.
4 minutes.
We love
Happiness
you too,
for the
pal. We
camera
love you
there.
too.
Camera's
Like
off
for us,
whether it likes it or
John.
not. Ball goes back off of NC State. taken away by UNC. UNC time working against them, 5.5 minutes. Going to go for a little pick and go here. Big number 19, Kip Sullivan, taking that one, the first-year player from Charlotte at Myers Park High School. Get it to the runners. UNC moves it away off of Vance. Vance finds a runner, finds Mendenhall. Mendenhall holds the ball well, gets the pass away. NC State digging in over that one quickly. Are they going to get it? They are. Penalty advantage, NC State.
Come on! Go to touch! Go to touch! Go to touch!
Barb putting in a great shift, doing everything.
Touch!
Not a chance.
Couldn't see it.
It went to the yellow line. That's a 2-meter thing off.
And there's some people on the side touch the ball too.
The coach wanted him to go to touch there. Stay away from the scrum.
I've told the fucking ref.
Not going to find touch there. They'll mix up the lines again, and the ball is going to stay rolling on the ground, giving the NC State defense time to work downfield. UNC player not held. He's able to get up. Do something with this as they're right in and around their 22 here, just inside. See the blue line there. UNC spills that one forward. They've knocked on a few in their zone down here, so it's going to come back to a scrum to NC State. They would be pleased to put another 5 on the board against this big rival of theirs.
Yeah, the trash talk's at an all-time high right now, I think. But with some good spirits there, too. George Condra, the fly half there for North Carolina, exchanged a little fist bump. Piasecki across the
Yeah,
way.
these players will be all smiles after the game. 3.5 to go.
Let's go!
Crouch! Fine! Set!
Thomas gets that one in. You see the replacement Troy Blackmer from Saw, North Carolina. Georg Godze headed towards the line and driven back. Just gets rid of that ball. Runners off to the left here. They go for the boot. Can they score off of this? And they have. What a kick and chase there. Referee awards it. Cross kick happens. What a finish for this NC State team.
They've got everything you need. I tell you, this is an impressive team that has every tool that you need to win a Division I AA national championship. I don't know if the Louisville Cardinals are sitting home or the Bowling Green Falcons are sitting at home watching this game as they are. They should be put on notice that there's a team right here in Tobacco Road that has the guns to compete with them. Look at this, a cross kick to switch fields. They can play the ball and play this game in so many different ways. When you have good boots on the pitch and the size that they have and the dominance at the set piece, you can beat anybody. I'm excited to see how this Wolfpack team does in Division I AA.
This Wolfpack team is looking strong this year. They'd lost a couple of players.
It's the nature of
Lining
college
up.
rugby.
Lining up the kick here is Ravin Proust, the first-year player from Paris, France.
You know, it's been a dynamic and a talking point in college rugby for a long time, how large schools, large state schools, especially the ones that were used to playing Division I in the traditional sports, can sometimes linger around in Division II and the smaller divisions a little bit too long. And this is an example of NC State moving up to Division I AA and having immediate success with the win tonight.
Great to see, and it is a win tonight because the final whistle is gone. It is 39-7. The Wolfpack of North Carolina State University has overtaken the Tar Heels of the University of North Carolina in this Carolina game. What a matchup, what a finish. It was just an all-around power and all-around game have been hit for this Wolfpack team.
Yep, impressive team, big win under the bright lights of Friday Night Rugby. Can't wait to come back next week and watch a sweet doubleheader and do it all over again.
All right, as we walk out with some highlights here, we'd like to say a few thank yous. First of all, to NCR National Collegiate Rugby for putting this amazing Friday night series on. Excellent work, all the staff and crew at National Collegiate Rugby. For the fans and the teams and the families of NC State and UNC, we thank you so much for joining us this evening. The Next Level Rugby crew, we have our camera operators. We have Mike Baker doing some technical work. We have Ryan, the man with the rugby plan, Ginty, sitting in the big chair. For For Pat Clifton, I'm John Brober. Come back next Friday. It's NCR Friday Nights.